Hi, Intuitive Pool community. I hope that you have been finding this Unresolved series really valuable. Today's episode is a bit of a serious one, and it's one that has to be contemplated, has to be presenced if you are feeling that there are things that are unresolved in your life. If you are feeling that what is unresolved in your life is not coming to completion and resolution. So, the title episode today is The Plan You Didn't Make, but the One That You Have to Take. So, this is a little bit of a sobering conversation today. And the conversation is about our addictions and our distractions. Now, our addictions are our distractions. But in this context, I want to talk about both addictions and distractions. Now, addictions can take up many different forms. They can take up the form of addiction to alcohol, drugs, sex, shopping, infidelity, lying, dishonesty, withholding, what I've been talking about, speaking half truths, being addicted to our phones, to technology, to being addicted to being distracted all the time, being busy, running from one thing to the other, not being present, therefore. Now, why it's really important for us to have this conversation, which is not a nice conversation to have, but it's a conversation that must happen, is because if you do not face into those addictions or distractions, there is only one thing that is going to happen, and that is that those cycles and patterns and habits that you keep experiencing that you can't seem to have any freedom over, those patterns and habits will continue repeating themselves. That's just reality. And so it is a sobering conversation today for you to consider, as hard as it might be, what addictions and distractions are you powerless to? So just think about it. See that addiction or that distraction, see it playing out in your mind's eye right now. And ask yourself, who has the power? Do you have the power in relationship to that addiction or distraction? Or does the thing that you have an addiction to or the thing that you use as a distraction, does it have the power? Now, it's a bit of a rhetorical question. And so whilst it has the power, you don't have the power, you have not made the decision to truly face into your relationship with that addiction or distraction. You have not yet gotten on your knees fully. You have not yet had a relationship with humility such that there is no more holding on. There is no more clutching at. There is no more denial and pretending. And the reason why we have to have this conversation, if that's the case, is because if you do not get on your knees and be really honest with yourself, not from a place of self-judgment and flagellation, but from a place of unconditional love, that you love yourself that much that you would get on your knees, that you love yourself that much that you would have this honest conversation with yourself. Because the truth is that the previous 14 episodes that I've recorded to this theme of bringing resolution and freedom to what you've not had resolution about, if you can't get honest here, if you can't get on your knees in humility, and stop holding on, you will not be able to implement any of the things that I've been speaking about, because you'll be still kind of, putting it underneath the carpet, not really wanting to know, thinking that you're doing what needs to be done and resolving. But if you have that really honest conversation with yourself, you'll realize that actually you've been lying to yourself. Now, whilst those things are continuing to repeat, those undesired realities and repetitive cycles continue to be part of our lives. Whilst I talked about unconditional love, what is more than likely going to happen if you're not feeling it already is you're going to be feeling shame and you're going to be feeling disharmony. Because that's just what happens when we continue not wanting to look into it, and then it has the power over us and we don't have freedom. We get to feel it's just the consequence, shame and disharmony within ourselves, and also disharmony within our lives. And can I just say that shame and disharmony are showstoppers? They are showstoppers. They are pretty magnificent anti-creators, let's say. It's like as if we've got the brakes on, we've got the engine running and we've got our foot on the accelerator, we're wanting to move, but ultimately we've got the brake or the handbrake on and we're not going anywhere. Which is why I have entitled this episode, The Plan You Didn't Make, but the One That You Have to Take. I had an idea last week, and the idea was maybe I can help you in a way that's a little bit different to how I have supported people in the past. Because of that, I had this pull to say, especially for now, in relation to this topic, and also the next topic that we're going to go on to. For a limited time, I am offering 5 sessions to be used within 3 months for 5,500 Aussie dollars, or 8 sessions to be used within 3 months for 8,000 Aussie dollars, which is a very marked difference to the way that I normally coach, which is 3 months for $12,000 paid off in $4,000 installments. Now, obviously, that is my preference, and higher than and bigger than that is my preference to work with people for a year for the unfolding that needs to happen, because this is a long game. But if you are unable to give yourself that $12,000 3-month high intensity, high partnership coaching, and you want to experience some breakthrough here, I have found a way, and I'm happy to offer this. So 5 sessions for $5,500 to be used over 3 months, but that needs to be committed and paid for by the 16th of December. Or $8,000 for 8 sessions over 3 months, and that needs to be committed to and paid for by the 31st of December. All that I can say is, if you know that I have been speaking to you, if you know you have to say yes to the plan that you didn't make, but you know it's the one that you have to take, if you are ready to courageously surrender, if you are ready to stop holding on, if you are ready to get on your knees if you're not already there, if you know that if you do not face into this, you will continue repeating these cycles into 2025, like it is just the truth. It is just fact. And anything other than being honest with yourself about that would be you lying to yourself and delaying the freedom that you can have. So if that's you, please reach out. There's nothing more that I can do than offer you those perhaps maybe easier ways to work together. And the other thing is my best year yet, which is a whole year's worth of group coaching. If you feel that you don't need one-on-one, however, sometimes we just know that we do. And if you know that you do, I can't make it any easier for you. But if you feel like group coaching is your vibe and you love being with people and you love sharing the experience, I cannot get over how ridiculous I have charged my best year yet, which will be changing, for a whole year's worth of group coaching, 3 group coaching sessions per month for a whole year for $5,500. I am going to be raising that significantly from the 17th of December this year. So if you want in for a whole year, it's absolutely bloody ridiculous. For $5,500, you must let me know and commit to that by the 16th of December. Now, in addition to that, I am getting the strong feeling that this series, Series 5, this series called the Unresolved series, I have a feeling I'm coming to the end of it. And I have a feeling I'm coming to the end of it this week. So a heads up, I will be moving into Series 6, possibly by the end of this week, which will be speaking to 2025's theme, which is extremely exciting. And I will dedicate a whole episode to this another time. But in short, Series 6 and 2025's theme for all the people that I coach is it's harvest time. It's a time of harvest. For those people who have been doing the work for several years, who have so much experience and wisdom that they've gathered over the years, who so want to be of service, who are so ready to lead from the faith and fire of their leadership with a little bit of madness, who are so ready to break the sound barriers of what is possible, who are so ready to bring it home, who are so ready to reap the fruits of their labor and to make some really important home runs. This is a time of harvest, and it is for particular people, and I'm looking forward very much to transitioning the podcast into Series 6, speaking to that theme firstly. And just going back to this episode 15, the plan you didn't make, but the one that you have to take, you cannot go and reap the rewards. You cannot go and make those home runs. You just can't if you are still attached to those things that you've given your power away, whether they are addictions or distractions, or your addictions are your distractions. You must get on your knees and surrender to start with. Okay, thank you. Ciao, ciao.